I will be installing a linear or GoControl garage door controller in my home. I've done a couple of these before with Smart Things. They've worked fine. They were with older openers. One was, actually both were about 15 years old. This opener is about 10 years old. All were Wif Master Chamberlain type openers. It's my understanding that they will not work with the new openers, which tend to take an only digital signal. So I wasn't sure what to expect here. My preliminary testing of the switch was, yes, it should work, since if I shorted the wires, as you would with a push button, it would work. I encountered some issues along the way and some bad advice from Chamberlain. So we'll take it from here. I will be skipping over some of the mundane installation stuff, so I think you can probably handle screwing a unit on the wall and minor wiring issues. My house has an ADT pulse system in it, and I want to add a garage door controller so that I can remotely open the garage door. The unit I'm using is a linear or GoControl controller, and we are going to see if we can add it to our pulse system. So the first thing we're doing is going into System, then Manage Devices. And we're going to go to Add Device. Okay, we will plug it in as requested. And the device is right next to the laptop and just a couple feet away from the modem. Okay, so now we're all set, and I'm going to click Continue and push the button. And there it is. It found it. Okay, so we're going to click Save. And now we have our garage door controller on it. Tomorrow, I will install it in the garage. I'm going to do that a little differently. In that I'm going to install it on the wall by the switch as opposed to up by the opener. And the reason I'm going to do that is because they have a 12-foot ceiling here. The previous owner had a truck, and I only have a 6-foot ladder. Actually a 5-foot ladder. So it will be a lot easier, since hooking a connection parallel, it doesn't matter which end of the wire I hook it to. I will do it by the door switch and mount it on the wall. So we'll see how that goes and finish up. The first thing I did was mount the sensor that goes on the door that indicates the open-close position. The only hard part about mounting that is remembering to put the arrow in the up position. I decided I'm going to mount the linear GoControl Z-Wave garage door opener on the wall by the control push buttons. My ceiling's too high, my ladder's not tall enough, and hooking a wire in parallel doesn't matter where I hook it, as long as it shorts out the connections to open the door. I already pulled the controller it's going to be connected to, because I wanted to check to make sure this is one of the older style openers. This is a new house for us, so I wasn't sure. I want to make sure this is one of the older style openers that uses a simple push button switch, as opposed to the new ones that have digital push buttons, which the GoControl would be useless on. So we're going to mount it there, and we'll show you how it works when we're done. I don't think you want to be bothered watching the screws go into the wall and all that crap. I assume you do have enough skills in order to do some of this yourself. This is the controller that was with my Liftmaster. It has a clock on it, tells you the temperature, the push buttons at the top. It's got a lock button on the bottom and a light button on the bottom and programming buttons on the left side. It also has a presence sensor. Now, when I popped it off the wall to check the wiring to see if shorting the wires would work, the unit worked with the wires shorted. So I put it back together and thought it would work fine with the Liftmaster. Turns out it doesn't. The Liftmaster controller must send a digital signal to the unit, and it interferes with the Liftmaster controller. I called Chamberlain. They said run a separate wire to the unit, and that would take care of things, and it should work. It did not. So that in this case, I ended up removing one of the controllers, the one obviously connected to the Liftmaster, to the GoControl, and just put in a standard push button. I mounted the GoControl unit on the wall next to the Liftmaster controls. It is connected to the push button below the Liftmaster control panel, and I put it there because it just seemed easier as opposed to trying to fight my way around the central vac that's right there with everything else. I plugged in the unit into the outlet just above the controls. I clipped back the retaining piece on it since it did not need to be screwed down as it wasn't in the ceiling. I can now use the other outlet there without interference. The unit is now all hooked up. It is functioning well. The icon shows up in the Pulse app, just as it shows up in the SmartThings app. Functions the same way. I debated whether or not to put in a short video of it working, but I figure you've seen it before and no need to bother you and lengthen the video for that operation. It works. It was simple, minor complication. We worked around it and all is good and it's working fine.